I don't like this phrase, fiscal cliff. I think it's a terrible analogy of where we are economically right now. I think a better word to use would be gully. I was raised on a farm in East Tennessee among the mountains and valleys and hills, and boy, did we have gullies. You know what we put in gullies? Trash and dead animal carcasses. And I think that's a much better analogy for where we are in our current economic situation. From listening to our press and politicians, we fell off the cliff several years ago. And we've been in this gully swimming around the trash and dead carcasses trying to claw our way out economically. You know, to take this analogy further, I see the trash as the press. Because no longer do they inform us about issues. They simply have their particular politician or position that they intend to give us the propaganda for, and that's what we get. We never get the full information or both sides of any issue. So biased. And guess what I see represented with the dead animal carcasses? Yeah, that'd be our politicians. I mean, they're about that useful, if you know what I mean. So here we are in the midst of this trying to get out. Now, do you know what the fiscal cliff is really about? Two main things. One is the Bush tax cuts are about to expire at the ending of this year. And I'm confused by that because the Democrats have been saying ever since that happened over 10 years ago what a mistake it was. They believe that that's the number one reason we had an economic collapse to begin with. That's when we fell off the cliff. That was such a terrible thing. I mean, they pounded us with that. And even Obama ran on the promise of raising taxes. Well, guess what? Congress does nothing and taxes are raised. All the tax cuts go back to what they were before Bush gave that. Why is there not celebration in the streets over that? I don't know. And then even on the conservative or the Republican side, automatically, with January 1, 2013, $1.2 trillion is going to be cut out of government spending. And again, ever since Obama's been president, the Republicans have hammered him over his spending. And they have just talked endlessly about how desperately we need to cut government spending. Well, again, guess what? They do nothing, and it happens. But again, no champagne bottles are being popped. No one's celebrating, and I just don't get it. Honestly, the people who's going to be hurt if nothing happens are two groups. One are those dependent upon government. And I'm mainly talking about employees or people working in government departments or whatever, as well as people who are dependent on whatever entitlement they have from the government. I think the second group that will be touched will be, of course, Wall Street. So if you're a big-time investor or speculator, a hedge fund manager, or some of those big companies, yeah, it's going to be hard to know where to place your bets. But you know what? For me and for most people in America, we're not a part of either one of those groups. So, yeah, our taxes will go up a little bit, but you know what? I'm still going to buy my Cap'n Crunch. So it's not going to be that devastating. And honestly, this is the first time and probably the last time you'll ever hear me give this advice to our politicians. But here goes. To all you old, stinky, dead carcasses we call Congress, do nothing.